Welcome to the I'm Still Here podcast. I'm your host, Heather Jose. In 1998, at the age of 26, I was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. It changed everything for us, but I'm still here. And we're here to talk to you about life with metastatic disease. We know it's not easy. We know that there are challenges that never get talked about, but we're here to walk with you through them, to show you some hope, some inspiration, and to help you make a plan so that you can join me in saying, I'm still here.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. It is a bright, sunny day, which is nice.
Well, we are recording this a few days ahead.
Right.
Did you know today's the first day of meteorological spring?
No, but I'm all for it.
I thought that'd make you happy.
Yeah.
It's kind of spring.
I think it's kind of deceptive. I believe it's pretty cold out.
It's freezing.
I don't go outside anymore because my foot doesn't allow me to go outside. So I don't know what the weather's like. And that's probably, the upside to breaking your foot in February is...
It's February.
It's February. The downside is that I have not gotten many steps in lately. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking about ways that I can incorporate fitness without using my feet.
Okay, you've done this a number of times before.
I know. I just was like, okay, core work would be a great start. Right?
Yeah.
There's some things I can do.
I tell my classes about this back when we had that 1.5 year long exercise wager.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
You broke your foot twice
during that time?
1.5 years. Remember playing volleyball?
Yeah.
You broke it twice, and you still beat me. So you didn't even stop. You got your cardio in still. Like the day after you broke your foot.
How did I do that?
You wore a boot.
I know.
Yeah.
The boot thing, though.
You don't like to lose.
I don't like to lose. That's true. So, but it's also making me feel like I'm kind of a wimp right now that I haven't been walking.
Well, I've been right there with you.
I definitely have fallen off.
I'm starting fresh again tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Sounds good to me.
Okay.
So also alongside fitness, which is always important, we thought maybe we would talk a little bit about kind of my latest go-tos food. You guys are always interested in what I'm eating and how I'm eating and that kind of stuff. And it has changed over the years. And I will start by saying, I think pre-diagnosis, I ate a very normal Midwestern diet, meat and potatoes. I've always liked fruits and vegetables. Sugar is my best friend. And then once I was diagnosed and really was interested in how I could, make everything be as effective as possible, I worked with a nutritionist at Block, and I think it's Block Center for Integrative Health now. They've changed their names a few times, but they're in Skokie, Illinois. And the reason I really liked them was because it's a team of people that really understand cancer, both from the conventional side, but also the integrative side of things. And so when I started there, I was like, I had met with some other nutritionists and sometimes with that, you just get the whole gamut, right? Do you remember somebody saying a calorie is a calorie, doesn't matter if it's a shake from McDonald's or something? Yeah, and I was like...
And the majority of the people that they dealt with at that time, that was true.
Yeah.
They were dealing with 75-year-old women who could barely move. They were shrinking away into nothing because of chemotherapy, and the calorie is a calorie. Just get something in your body.
And I agree. And even at times during my treatment, it was that, right? A calorie was a calorie for me. Yeah. But overall, I really wanted to kind of be as proactive as possible to use my nutrition, to my benefit. So when we started working with the nutritionist at Block, the dietitian, I should say, we really focused on eliminating hormonal, sources. So meat, dairy were off the table. And then really focusing on whole grains, fruits and vegetables, and yeah,
non-processed sugars.
Yeah, and like low sugar type of stuff. But again, and I remember it being challenging at first because I didn't know how to do that necessarily, and my best friend Christy and I we had this we found this, I'll never forget, this cookbook that was like all vegetables, and we went out and bought the whole store and came home, and we were making like this super salad and everything else in like mass quantities, and we hated it. Like, it was terrible. You know what I mean? Like, it just wasn't something we could truly eat. And
I think vegan and vegetarian food have come a long way in the last 30 years.
So far, yeah. But what we did learn, too, was that, we can adapt Mexican food pretty easily, or we can eliminate, I don't personally like raw tomatoes, but man, tomato products were my best friend at that time. And I remember took my blood one time looking at different levels, and I remember my dietitian going, "Your lycopene levels are off the charts," and that's from tomato products. So it just was funny, but that became something that it was like, okay, doing this really empowered me. I never felt, this is the thing I think that's so key about food and anything that you're doing, is embrace it. And if you're feeling guilty about it, then the benefits might, you know what I mean? It's not worth it, right? Do your best, and your best can be a lot of different things. So you have to decide kind of what standard you're going to hold yourself to and when, and have days that you don't do that. That's fine. And understand that there's going to be some, ups and downs with that.
Yeah, specifically you're talking about kind of the year that you were going through treatment.
Yes.
That you were as all in as you possibly could, because that was where your mental focus was. I don't want to say 100% of the time, but a lot of the time
yep.
It was on healing.
Yep.
It was on being having your immune system be as strong as possible. It was on taking away the fuel for the cancer. It was on very specific things, so you had a purpose each day.
Yeah.
For doing the work, because this was a lot of work to do this.
Yeah.
For doing the work to eat as best as you possibly could.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the preparation for it was challenging, even
just lack of knowledge,
figuring out things that I liked, trying to kind of keep track of what I was eating. All of it was a challenge.
And just in general, neither of us, or especially not me at all, but you hadn't been really cooking that long.
Right, I was 26.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you didn't have these 20 years of preparing food for a family and learning that happens there, and you just
absolutely not. Yeah. And I love you, Mom, but my mom's not the best cook in the world. Like, we grew up in the 80s, and she worked full time. So, I mean, I'm a big fan of Hamburger Helper, but I also knew that couldn't, be my go-to. So our kind of normal dinner type of foods were not anything that was going to be like something that I was accessing at that point. Mm-hmm. So then it was kind of like, well, what can I take that does feel sort of normal and, modify or whatever. Yeah. And I honestly, I felt like Mexican food was one of the easiest because we could, I could eliminate the meat. I could either do beans or I could do a meat substitute of some kind. And also anything that we could prepare that we could put it together ourselves, like, right? So that if you guys wanted meat, you could eat it, kind of thing. We did a lot of figuring things out, right? Mm-hmm. And then over the years also just trying to source, the best products for us. That was the other thing that was huge. When I was diagnosed, we didn't live where we live right now, but we only moved about, 15 miles away. But there was literally a farm the road over from our old house that at about the same time really started doing grass-fed cattle, beef, and it was it was amazing, like, kind of to have some resources right there.
No added hormones, no added, I mean, nothing added.
Nothing added at all. And that was, again, I was diagnosed in 1998, so, I mean, at that time, chicken was pumped full of everything. So chicken was just a no-go for me. They do label things better now, and I think they have, in general, chicken's better than it used to be. But anyway, having some local resources to be able to get some things. So occasionally I would eat like ground beef for something that we got from, but not much in the beginning.
In that first year, no. It started, and that's kind of what I wanted to say is where you were previous,
yeah,
and then looking at what you did dietary during treatment,
yeah,
and then it was a slow. I don't want to say it was a slow addition or modifications as the years went on.
Yeah.
But probably never back to that,
No.
meat and potatoes and that kind of thing. We still don't eat like that.
Yeah.
But it was also knowledge, learning what's healthy, what's not, why, how do you get that food, where do you source it from, what do you stay away from? It's just all that learning that happened, and then we learned that. You can eat beef in small amounts, but where are you getting the beef from? What's in the beef? There's still hormones in the beef, obviously, because you can't. If you're going to eat most protein sources, you're going to get that. So, but it's still, it was learning and then modifying to,
And also just kind of saying, like, what is going to be a no for me or a yeah. Like, I think about, like, tuna fish, right? Like, I did eat fish in that first year, too, and there's all different levels of like tuna, right? Yeah. But again, at some point you have to go, no, we have a budget, we have this, and I'm not going to freak out about whatever mercury, and I'm not going to eat a ton of it or whatever, but I'm going to eat canned tuna and feel fine about it. I'm not going to worry about those things, So, it has changed over the years, and some things did get, milk got pretty eliminated. It got
from the start.
Yep. Our kids never drank milk. Oh, I think Ty did at school, but
he did. Yeah.
Ty learned a whole new world of nutrition when he went to school. But yeah, Sydney never did. We always just did. We did soy milk for her when she was little, and it was no big deal. Now I usually have a milk in the fridge, but it just a lot of times it's almond milk or sometimes coconut milk. It's not something, once you eliminate it, and I was a huge milk drinker. I loved milk, and it just hasn't ever been something that I've really missed. You don't know. You were never a milk.
I haven't had a glass of milk in, I don't even know, 40 years. I don't know. A long, long time. I never really liked it. I drank it, like, for dinner. I'd be forced to have a glass of milk.
Yeah.
Because that's what you had at dinner.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But no.
Yeah.
Back when I was in high school and I still had cereal.
Yeah.
I would have milk on the cereal.
For sure.
And that's it. And then besides, baking often involves milk.
Yeah.
Or there's milk that does come into my diet, but not intentionally. No.
Yeah.
And so, even in that first year, you would still have some sweets.
Yeah.
Like, and you just made sure, and with everything we're talking about, whether it's we went out to dinner or something like that, and you wanted this, and it had beef in it. Well, to eat it once there, we learned early on that, anything in moderation is going to be fine, except for crack, which you can't do crack in moderation, and that's what I tell my kids at school. So can't do crack in moderation.
Yeah, and I would say, like, it was kind of figuring out. So a lot of times, we'd celebrate with food, right?
Yeah.
A good scan.
Right.
And it'd be, I don't know if it would be meat or it'd be something fried, a fish sandwich or something like that I just had wanted, But I will say that would be, what changed with that was like the amount of times that we do that. It was a lot less often. At the time, also. And
we're still trying to do that today.
Yes.
right? I mean,
Well, this is the thing. What I was going to say is like many people go out to eat multiple times a week, or at least, you know what I
Yeah.
mean. And so you have to at some point go, okay, then not every time out is a celebration. You know,
Right.
like I still
Sure.
have to be mindful of what I'm doing. Way back then, there was a little cafe restaurant that I went to every week with like the cooking girls, right? And it couldn't be like, oh, I'll eat whatever I wanted all this, you know, like it was a really regular occurrence. But they actually they got a veggie burger for me. They got whole
did.
wheat buns for me. This was just a small town. And it was so sweet of them to do that, you know, but they always would have that for me. So it is kind of that balance of, if you're somebody who goes out to eat all the time, that's fine. That's up to you. But like, you have to look for healthier options when you're out if it is an all the time
A regular thing. Yeah.
part of your diet, right?
Yeah. For me, my vice is fast food. I love fast food. I love it.
Yeah.
And I look forward to it or whatever.
Yeah.
But I know it is the most unhealthy thing I do in my diet.
Yeah.
And so I just, at the beginning of the year, just said I'm going to try to not do this. And I have had fast food once in 2 months now.
Yeah, but
if I can go once a month,
yeah, exactly,
I'm going to be so much healthier just in just that, because we all know there's a lot of crap in that.
Yeah.
And especially what I buy there. I don't buy the healthy stuff or
Right.
anything healthy.
Right.
I want it to be my exception type of thing.
Yeah.
And as long as it's in moderation, it's fine.
Yeah. So I think in general, what I've been thinking about a lot lately is just kind of, again, like eating real food. And lately it's also been about varying my diet. And I think I've talked about this a little bit on here, but there's talk about eating 30 plants a week, which at first I was like, that sounds like so many, right? But when I downloaded this checklist, and if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. It is at DJ Blattner, Blatner.
Good job, DJ. Thank you.
Yes, it's really great. But it's got greens, fruits, veggies, beans, nuts, seeds, herbs, and spices. And it doesn't take anything really to get 30 a week. And what I really like about this is thinking about, you know, like when I talk about a million years ago and my lycopene level was so high, and it's like, man, I've barely been eating tomatoes at all lately, you know, or tomato products. And it's like, okay, no, let's add some of that in and do that kind of stuff. So,
And we've talked about this in like when we probably discussing nutrition specifically, maybe in the 5 to Thrive, and it's great to get your fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
yeah.
But if you're not varying them, you're not getting all of the essential amino acids. And the essential amino acids are the ones we have to eat. We cannot, our body makes most amino acids in order to make proteins, but we have to eat certains of them. And you're not going to get them without varying this.
Yeah.
So I love my specific fruits and vegetables. I am not getting everything I need because I don't do this as well as you.
Yeah, but like we just went grocery shopping, and it's same thing. Like I always buy raspberries. You like apples, right? Like
I like apples, raspberries, strawberries.
Yeah. But we bought pineapple. Yeah. We bought mango, which I'm sure you won't touch the mango. Maybe you will. But anyway, it is kind of. It's not like bananas, I'm going to do totally different things. It's. I'm going to add a new one in.
And you literally only need to do these once a week. If you get that amino acid that you were lacking from that source, whether it's veggie or fruit, once a week. That's all it's needed.
Yeah.
You're going to get enough in that. One serving a week.
It's just about that whole variance, right? To kind of help your whole microbiome, all of it work well too. I mean, and for me, like fiber, I feel a lot better when I eat more fiber. So raspberries are great for me, you know, but really working on like how can I be getting more than what people say I need of fiber. You know what I mean?
I think so. Me too. And that's to some extent our age.
Yeah. But the other thing with that, like, so a good snack for me is popcorn. You know, like it just low salt or whatever. I do lesser evil popcorn, which comes in a bag and it's made with coconut oil, and it's pretty low calorie and it's a great fiber source, and it's really yummy. So like that works for me. Then the other thing I've been thinking about too is fermented foods, because again, just that whole gut biome and everything, keeping everything kind of working together and being able to, just be as, I don't know.
And a lot of these, I think we would be doing right now without cancer.
For sure.
Because of our age. But what cancer does, especially if any of you experience cancer at a young age, it kind of fast forwards your life and your anatomy, and all of these things are very. You're having these discussions at a younger age than you should.
Yeah.
And if you apply these things, it works.
It's kind of funny though. We were just having this discussion with some of our friends the other night, and we're like, "Wow, we're all having not just talking about this kind of thing." It's like, oh, everybody's caught up with us.
Holy shit, we're old.
Yeah. So. Fermented foods, just kind of thinking about, again, varying, but, introducing some of those things. So yogurt, kombucha, kimchi, sourdough, sauerkraut, which I'm going to be honest, I've never had sauerkraut in my life.
Never will.
I am willing to try it.
Oh, God, no. I don't want to be in the house.
Not like, I don't know.
Don't need it. There's other ways, so you get to pick and choose. That's the beauty of this. Like sourdough bread, good to go. Love kombucha. I don't need it all, and you don't need it all.
No, I know. Yeah.
Miso, gotta find what you like.
Miso was in there. Tempeh, kefir. So.
Never heard of any of those, but that's okay.
Yeah, miso is the soy kind of like a soy.
Oh,
product.
I didn't know that.
Miso soup, right?
Yep.
I actually did more soy when I was early diagnosed. Also,
because there weren't meat substitutes.
Yeah.
And soy would soak up flavors.
Yeah.
That's what I learned, and it's all about the preparation of the soy.
Yeah.
You can also tweak to make it as close to what you were trying to substitute it for.
Yeah.
We didn't. I mean, we did that a little bit, but trial and error. But now the good part is there's meat substitutes that you can just go and buy, but they're not healthy.
No, because they have a million
They're
ingredients
not healthy
in
at
them.
all.
That's the thing. That's where I just, again, if you've been listening for a while, we did vegan for a while last year. But that's everything that, especially you were eating, it was all just a million ingredients. It's like, it just goes against eating.
But it was vegan.
Eat real food. Eat real food, right? And be thinking about, how close to the source can you be in that, I think people get freaked out about sort of the wrong things on some of this stuff. But, yeah.
Welcome to this world right now.
Okay. No.
It's true.
Yeah.
I battle this. I do. I battle this because I am a health teacher. I teach nutrition units 10 times a year type of thing. And in all of my years, so this goes back, I was just telling the story, goes back to when I was in college, when I truly paid attention for the first time about this, because the thought of, I need to not just learn this, I need to know this. And from a level of educating others about it. And, some basics of our energy nutrients that we need, what percentages from your diet, what I learned, back in 1992 or so. It has not changed at all. But if you track what people have said you should get from 1992 to 2025, it has just gone through the spectrum. Every energy nutrient has been picked on. They've all said they're the devil. They've all said that, no, this is what you need. The reality is it has not changed a bit.
Yeah.
And we would try to change that if it were healthier. Now, I don't want to get deep into this, but there's other reasons why people push certain foods or not. And obviously money's a factor in that. But in the end, if you eat foods from those groupings, because you need energy, you have to have energy, and you eat them as close to their original state as you can, you are getting the healthiest food you can possibly get. Period. Yeah. And then the second part of that is varying them. Yeah.
Well, even just like sourdough, which we're also talking about, like you can buy sourdough bread that has 7,000 ingredients on it.
You can.
You can also buy sourdough bread that has or you can make your own. I'm getting there. I haven't gotten there yet, but right now I've been buying one that is just, it's a few ingredients. It's not,
and it's not going to last as long. It's
not
going to
last
go.
as long.
Mold's going to grow on it really fast and
Yep.
stuff, and you gotta eat it. But if your sourdough bread is not growing mold inside of a week, it has a lot of preservatives in it, and we don't really understand the consequences of that. We don't. We understand that many things, this is the audience to talk to, many types of cancer have risen in the last 30, 40 years, astronomical numbers compared to the 100 years prior to that. Well, why? Well, one of the things we look at is, well, are preservatives an issue? Are these other things that we've added to food or subtracted from food in the sense of fiber and processing of our grains? Is there a consequence to that?
Yeah, and just even nutrients in the food
those
itself,
haven't
right?
truly been studied.
Yeah.
Because there's not a government source that's going to fund that study.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to know the answer.
I know.
That's the truth. You guys
I know.
can hate me for it, but I believe this audience.
I don't
probably
think, I think they all
understands that.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I guess I just feel like a lot of times I get asked what I'm eating, what I'm thinking about in terms of food. I am by no means an expert, but I have been thinking about it for a lot of years, really what I put in my body.
You certainly eat purposefully.
I do eat very purposely, yes. And yeah.
You do. I mean, there is a thought behind almost everything you eat, whereas it's 70% of the time for me. Yeah. It's 99% of the time for you.
Yeah. So it doesn't mean that I don't use foods that are, pretty easy to prepare or whatever, but I just, I think I've kind of, and I feel good right now too. That's the other thing is like, I do feel like having really thought more about it and introduced been able to kind of put my focus back on fruit and vegetables. And honestly, what has deterred me from that is the whole, this whole big protein, get your protein, get your protein, get your protein. And I'm just like,
it's ridiculous.
I feel better. And honestly, also as somebody who's trying to lose a few pounds, I can eat a lot of fruit and vegetables, and feel full. I haven't been focused on protein.
Energy.
I've been focused on fiber, one, because I really do think it makes me feel a lot better. And also just kind of how a meal, kind of having a balanced meal so that I won't be, starving right after kind of thing. So anyway, that's what we've been doing.
Yeah. And I do like the idea of a checklist in that I can, and I don't even need to check things off of it, but to look and go, that's within that group.
And honestly, just going through herbs and spices, I do have some basil. I could put some basil on this, or I do have even cinnamon. How can I could put some cinnamon in my coffee? All of these things where I just kind of go, or nuts, I was going to get sunflower seeds and I forgot. I just was I haven't had those in a while. Just kind of that. What are, 2 to 5 things when I shop that I can add in this week, sort of, but.
Yeah. And again, if you can plan with this and be purposeful in shopping, then you're going to eat it.
Well, this is the thing, a very basic salad for me is some sort of lettuce and spinach. And I really like to have nuts and seeds on top of my, again, vary
I like
that.
Seeds. I don't like nuts on salad.
Okay.
Yeah.
But vary that from pumpkin seeds to sunflower seeds to whatever. That kind of thing is okay, it also, we were talking about this a little bit, just how we kind of, at least I grew up, my mom would buy a lot of foods, buy it kind of in bulk or whatever sort of thing. And for the two of us, a pack of sunflower seeds is good. And then let's move on to, pumpkin seeds or whatever. Yeah, kind of thing. Instead of at least I was this is a good deal. More is better kind of thing. So
that's another, looking at the blue zones around the world, if you don't know what that is.
Yeah.
People are living outside the statistical norm of the age group, and it's a group of people living in the similar areas, and they study why. Well, one of the things is in a lot of those places they don't have refrigeration.
Yeah.
So they buy on
They
a
shop every
daily
day.
basis
Yeah.
what they're going to eat that day.
Yeah.
Something to that, too.
Yeah.
And there's no waste. I mean, we all know what our cabinets look like and our refrigerators
Yeah.
and our freezers and how much we have stored up. I would love to live on an island where I just went and
Same.
shopped at the market every
Me
day
too.
for what
I
we're going to
agree.
eat that day. And oof,
Yeah, that'd be
sounds
awesome.
to me.
Yep. All right. Well, we're not going to do that anytime soon, so we'll just keep working on it.
We have to work. Unless someone wants to give us a couple $1 million, I think I would need.
Or
at
it
this
has
point.
a place on an island that
that
they
we
don't
could
use.
that we could stay in when you are not there. We would take care of it.
Yep, we'd be good people.
We would, if it's close to a beach, even better. But I'm not going to be picky at that point. All right. So
right.
just let us know, please.
Yeah. See ya.